Welcome to Green Side Talks, where we journey together into the heart of sustainable living. I'm your host, Lakshmi Alla, the podcast manager and passionate advocate for sustainable fashion here at Green Side Initiative Organization. This brand new podcast is your gateway to invaluable information on living sustainably, from saving our precious soil, exploring the world of sustainable fashion beauty, to empowering eco-conscious living. We got it all covered. We will also dive into the wonders of various plants, enrich our minds with environmental education, and discover ways to make our planet better for both this generation and the future ones. So whether you're a seasoned eco warrior or just beginning your green journey, Greenside Talks is here to inspire, educate, and connect you with the vibrant world of sustainability. Once again, welcome to the world of Greenside Talks. Let's grow, learn, and make a difference together. And now, I'm thrilled to introduce Dana, a renowned blogger and environmental scientist who has taken the world by storm with her expertise in sustainable fashion and beauty. With a massive following on Instagram, Dana is admired globally for her profound understanding of sustainable living at such a young age. Through her blog and social media, she not only learns but also teaches and inspires countless people to embrace a greener lifestyle. Greenside Talks is incredibly grateful and excited to have Dana with us for this second episode. This is Lakshmi Alla, and I am a podcast manager and a sustainable fashion advocate in Greenside Initiative Organization. And I welcome you to Greenside Talks, and I'm very thrilled to talk with you today. I'm very happy to, actually more than happy to have a wonderful conversation with you. Me and my audience are very much ready to learn a lot about sustainable fashion and beauty, a lot of different things with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. It's actually a big honor to be a speaker on the podcast. As it's my first ever podcast.
Okay, so this is season 1, Foundations of Sustainability, episode 2, Sustainable Fashion Beauty, Inspiring Sustainability with Dana. Let's get started. Okay, so I want to know, what does sustainable even mean to you?
Sustainability for me, I think it's like always having environmental problems and your impact on environment as well as on people living on environment and animals in your mind whenever you do something, you buy something. Because I think like the term sustainability doesn't have a clear meaning for everyone, of course, and there's no like one ideal perfect sustainable lifestyle that everyone should follow, but either like a general overview of how you should lead your life. It's just having these like things like environment in your mind. That's what it means for me.
Okay, that's really nice. Okay, yes. So, what is your age? How old are you? Because like I cannot believe that like you in such a young age already are doing so much, like teaching a lot of people about sustainable fashion, beauty, informing them about the cruel brands that we should avoid. And I think it's like, and you seem very young, and like young age, you're teaching and learning a lot, and you took a big decision of going through sustainable fashion. Because I know a lot of people who follow fast fashion, but like you took a major decision. So how old are you?
I'm 25, and
Uh-huh.
my journey in sustainable fashion, it I think it started like recently, maybe 1 year ago. So yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Where are you originally from?
I'm from Kazakhstan. I lived my whole life there. Only last year I moved to Europe as a part of my master's studies.
So, when it comes to your master studies, what are your education qualification? Like, what are you pursuing masters in?
My master's is in environmental contamination and toxicology. I
Okay.
chose it mainly because when I worked in Kazakhstan on microplastics, it was first ever research in whole Central Asia about microplastics. So I realized I don't have enough knowledge, I don't have enough experience and expertise in that. And only because of that, I realized that I needed masters in that specific like area subject, and that's why I chose environmental contamination, because it's very close to what I studied, what I worked on in Kazakhstan.
So you before you did your master's, do you used to do a job in Kazakhstan?
Yeah. I started working as a research assistant during my bachelor's degree on
Hmm.
my third year.
Yes.
Then after finishing it, I worked for 1 year there as well in my university. Then after that, yeah, I realized that I want to have more knowledge. That's why I chose to pursue my master's studies. Right now, I'm also working on microplastic. This is the very same topic, very everything is the same, but the only difference is my location.
I mean, I believe that like it doesn't matter where you are, but like as long as you're learning the right thing, like the thing you love, that's where you're going to achieve a lot of things. Yes. So I was just wondering, why did you even choose environmental science? Why do you want to be an environmental scientist? Why did you want to pursue a master's in this particular field?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's very popular in Kazakhstan or in Central Asia, like environmental jobs and sustainability, especially environmental science. Um, the most popular one is water management because we have problems with water in Central Asia because of climate change, of course.
Yes.
But I'm coming, like my whole family is coming from Aral area, if you know Aral Sea. It's like one of the biggest environmental disasters in the world. Aral Sea was once like second largest lake in the world, but right now it's shrunk to 90% of its original size. So it was very devastating during Soviet era because of mismanagement and everything.
Mm.
Um, this area suffered a lot from this environmental problem, and of course my family as well was impacted by this environmental problem. My grandfather, he's still like doing something in order to restore, at least to conserve what's left from Aral Sea. I used to visit a lot, I still visit a lot this area, and it's very devastating to see because like the main source of income for those people was this lake because of its fishing industries and everything, but right now like everything is dying there. It's just a desert without anything. So it was a very tragic experience, I would say, as well as it impacted a lot of people in terms of health, because we saw a high cancer rate there. A lot of my relatives have asthma, allergies. So, like, I could feel how environmental problems have a huge impact on our people. Like, yeah. And I think that was my first step in being interested in sustainability and environmental science. Of course, another thing was my huge love for animals, and animals is a huge part of environment, right? So yeah, I think these were like two biggest parts of me that wanted to become more like environmental, sustainable, and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, that's like the main idea.
That's actually very inspiring. You took a step ahead than your people in your country. You wanted to help your country. You wanted to make a change for this generation and for the future. That's very impressive, actually. Thank you
Thank
for
you so
doing
much.
that, actually. Yes. So, when did you started to be interested in sustainable fashion? Just generally, what made you an environmental scientist? I mean, what made move into environmental science? Okay, I got the answer for the second one, but like, how did you got interested in sustainable fashion? Even before deciding to be a sustainable person, were you like, a huge fan of fashion, like trends and everything?
I liked fashion like as a hobby. Um,
Hmm.
I always like to like wear beautiful outfits and everything. And the biggest influence was my sister. She's very into fashion. She likes like to have every trend on herself. And I think that was my biggest influence. That's why I was interested in fashion. To be honest, I even had my like at first my Instagram was about just fashion. I
Mm.
used to show even fast fashion brands and everything. But I think sustainable lifestyle and fashion was like a logical transition as I was an environmental scientist and I knew a lot of problems a problem with overconsumption and everything, and I saw it and I even studied it as my job. So of course
Yes.
I couldn't just skip, like I couldn't just separate my life from environmental science. Like I have this job and my lifestyle can be anything I want. Like it was very strange for me at first. And when I did like my Instagram in fast fashion brands, I think I had like a cognitive dissonance inside of me because I really liked fashion, but at the same time, I knew and I studied and I tried to have a solution as a part of my studies for these problems. So for some time, I stopped posting anything at all because I couldn't understand what I'm doing. But time after time, I saw other sustainable fashion influencer, just sustainable lifestyle influencers, and I was like, these are just people who never studied even environmental science, but they're still doing so much for sustainability and everything. And I have enough knowledge on the problem, like scientific knowledge. And I was thinking like, I have a say in that. So I started to do this sustainable fashion blog and everything, and I'm really glad I did. And yeah, it's been a wonderful experience for me.
That's very nice. I mean, like, I can relate to you very easily because after I found out about sustainability, at first I didn't even know what does the word mean, but like after I find it out and I found out that like, some brands they are not sustainable at all. Like it was so hard for me to stay on the fashion at the same time be sustainable. But like I think you made it easy for us for people who want to be sustainable at the same time want to follow some fashion trends. You made it easy. You can be sustainable and fashionable. Thank
Thank
you. I seen your Insta profile. In your I think in your description you would give in your bio you gave us things of your wardrobe, your fashion sense and everything. That was very amazing, and you really do have a great fashion sense.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Don't you think following sustainable fashion is a little expensive though? Like for example, Zara and H&M, they are sustainable brands as far as I know. But at the same time, they are very expensive. There's one brand called Reformation. It is very sustainable. It's a very successful brand. But at the same time, there are a lot of companies that the brand is very expensive. What's your take on that?
I think it's one of the biggest misconception in sustainable fashion. It's like you still shop and do everything like you do with fast fashion, like over consuming and everything, and you just translate it to sustainable brands. And of course, it's going to be expensive. But in sustainable fashion, the first thing that you need to do is like slow your consumption at in the first place. And when you slow your consumption, of course, it's going to be less clothes you buy, meaning less money you spend. And I always try to say that sustainable brands are not an answer for sustainability and for sustainable lifestyle, in my opinion, because it still requires resources. It still requires water and energy to produce that. And if you still buy as many clothes as you do with fast fashion brands, but from sustainable brands, the problem isn't solved. You still have a lot of clothes that go to landfills that require resources and everything. So sustainable brands should be like a last resort. So you have at first like stopping consuming at all. For example, right now I don't buy any clothes at all because I think I already have enough. That's the first
Mhm.
thing. And then if you still need something, then I would go thrifting and secondhand shops. That's like a good answer for sustainability, in my opinion. And then only as the last step, if everything is not working and everything, or if you want to reward yourself with something new, then only sustainable brands are coming to you as your shopping choice. So in that case, I would say that then sustainable fashion is going to be very much cheaper than any fast fashion's lifestyle. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Makes sense. So it's better to not overbuy clothes. It's better to have a limit, right? and it's
Yeah.
better to have enough clothes. And like when you are buying clothes, you need to make sure that it's going to impact the environment or not. But like that's a third thing. But like before you even buy anything, you need to ask yourself,
Of
do I
course.
really have to buy this? Do I really need this? Right? Yeah. So can you explain us about the R's of sustainable fashion?
Yeah. So I think it's reduce, reuse, recycle, right?
Yes.
But it's not coming from sustainable fashion. Like
Oh, okay.
originally, yeah, originally I studied it in my bachelor's degree, um, in my, I think, environmental engineering course. It's like the basis of sustainability or basis of environmental sciences and everything. It's the rule of 3 R's. Um, it should be applied to anything, to fashion or to makeup or I don't know, to anything, to food or I don't know.
So not only fashion, but
It's
like for everything.
Yeah, for
Yes.
everything, for every aspect of your life when you can apply it. So it's reduce, reuse, and recycle. It's like it's in our course. It was showed like a pyramid, and
Hmm.
then you have like the very first thing you should do is reduce your consumption. As I said, by reducing your consumption, you will save a lot of resources, a lot of your money, and yeah, it's like the best decision in
Yeah.
sustainability.
And also,
Then
I think
if
it's
you
very
cannot,
hard to follow those R's.
yeah, maybe
Yes.
at first, yes, but as you do it for a long time, then it's come like it's coming better and better. The
Yes.
second thing is reuse.
Hmm.
Whenever you can reduce your consumption and you still need to use something, you reuse. It's either you buy something secondhand, for example, or even taking your clothes from your relative or like from my sister. I used to take a lot, like this is my sister's
Yeah.
dress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, or for example, you have, I don't know, old jars. I never buy jars because I have them from, I don't know, very old, because you buy jam or I
Hmm.
don't know, anything, then you have this uh, glass jar for free and then you reuse it as much as you can. This is like second thing because you again reduce your consumption. And the final thing, but I don't know why most people confuse it and they do like recycling as their first step. And when they think like, I'm going to recycle it, so it's no problem, it actually is a problem because not everything can be recycled, and recycling still needs a lot of resources in terms of, again, electricity and water and everything. And third step that you want to do like after everything, so yeah, in
Yes.
terms of fashion, it's going to be, as I said, reducing your consumption, reusing the clothes you already have, or taking it from someone, or secondhand. And then the third thing is recycling, but I'm not sure if recycling clothes is widely available or yeah.
And also back to your master's. So how is the environmental science, going on for you? How is education going on? How, like, I mean, since you move to a new place, a new continent, actually, completely a different place. So how is the new change for you? How are they teaching you? What are you learning? Can you please know about your education, like the master's?
Yeah, of course. I would say that in terms of education planning or like um, style, I would
Hmm.
say it's very similar to my previous university because it's more, my university in Kazakhstan was like American based education. So here it's very similar to that.
Maybe
Um,
know the name of your university in your country.
Nazarbayev University.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so which university are you studying right now?
Right now,
Yeah.
it's actually hard to tell because it's an Erasmus program. If you know Erasmus, it's like you change your university every semester. So my
Oh.
first semester was in Université de Bordeaux in
Hmm.
France.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now I'm in Spain. I'm gonna stay here for 2 semesters.
Hmm.
Basically, here in Spain, it's not like a proper or normal university. It's actually a marine station. Um, yeah, it's like located right on the beach, which is very beautiful. And
Oh.
yeah, I have like the the most beautiful view from my laboratory where I work. So yeah, it's very cool. Like I see the beach and waves. It's very beautiful. Yeah, but it's a marine station. So right now my education is more like practice based
Hmm.
because I work in laboratory and yeah, not a lot of lectures, I would say, but more of a practice. In my last for my last semester, I still yet have to decide on the country where I want to continue. But I already know my master thesis is going to be about microplastics because it's a very interesting topic, very hot topic in environmental science right now because it's relatively new, a relatively new problem. Yeah. So
Okay.
as for the moving from my country, as I said, I spent my whole life in Kazakhstan, it's Central Asia. In my experience, I would say I had some cultural shocks, not like big ones, because of course we know everything about Europe right now because of social media and everything.
Yes.
But yeah, but my experience was very new, very new. Everything was new to me. The problems with administrative staff, especially in France, yeah, very funny but very sad at the same time. Yeah, but I like it here. I like how people are more conscious, I would say, than there in Kazakhstan, that they still think about environmental problems and try to do something. But at the same time, their consumption is like one of the biggest, I would say.
Yes. So you said, it's very funny. So what's really funny about the administrator over there in France?
The first thing is that um, I didn't know that administrative stuff is going to be harder and less developed than in my country, in Kazakhstan, because in
Hmm.
Kazakhstan you can do everything online, everything is very relatively fast. You wouldn't have a lot of problems, but here I was stuck in France for 2 or 3 months because they lost my files, which I sent
Oh,
on which I sent online. Like, how can you lose a file that was sent online? That was, I don't know, it was surreal.
that's a
Yeah, so
a moment.
yeah, of course, yeah. That
Yes.
then we had to like, uh, I don't know, contact our university's president for him to contact prefecture, which is a administrative staff, and they contacted them, and only after that they could resolve this problem. Yeah, but because of actually my second semester was supposed to be in Norway,
Mhm.
um, and my third semester was going to be in Spain, but right now because of these problems I just switched to Spain, so I'm going to be here for 1 year. Yeah.
That's what's a cool thing? You can go anywhere in Europe, and at the same time you're studying your favorite thing. Oh my God, I wish I can do that.
It's actually like very available, like for any foreign country students. I don't know if you did your master's already or you're doing your bachelor's, right?
No, no, no. I'm in high school. Actually, I'm
Ah,
a yeah. I'm going to be 11th grader.
oh, okay, okay. I don't know. I thought it was a university thing, but after bachelor's, like Erasmus offers only master's
Hmm.
programs, but it's a fully funded program where you get to travel and then they pay you a stipend, like monthly allowance. And yeah, it's very cool program. I really like it.
Maybe know the program name.
Erasmus.
Erasmus. Okay, yes, yeah. You mentioned it already. My bad. Yes, and also, how do you even apply for it? How did you even reach out to this program?
They have a website which is
Hmm.
very like
I
intuitive
mean,
to
you
use.
found it out like through social
Ah,
media or a friend.
no, I think at the time in university I've heard of this program because some of our alumni, they went to this program and I've heard of it, and
Hmm.
their experience was very cool. Like they got to travel and to study at the same time and everything is paid for them. It was very cool. So I was like, okay, I got to try.
Yeah, that's very nice. Okay. So Do you think using Kylie Cosmetics, Rare Beauty, Florence by Mills, or any of other celebrity beauty products is healthy or ethical to our skin?
Yeah, I have this problem with celebrity beauty or any celebrity brand because I think um, these celebrities are actually used as a face for all these brands, and
Like
even
as
if you
a
think,
commercial
yeah,
advertisements
yeah,
kind of thing?
yeah, as their PR
Yes.
marketing and everything.
Yes.
Um, I had like I have an example of so Skims, as you know, is not a very sustainable brand because they heavily rely on polyester and like oil-based fabrics.
I'm I'm sorry, can you
And
please repeat the brand name again?
Skims,
Skims.
Kim
Okay. It's
Kardashian's
a
brand.
oh, okay, okay, yes. Is it a beauty brand or clothing? I'm sorry, I'm not aware.
No, no, it's a clothing brand, but it's just for an example.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah. So I have if my very favorite artist of all time is Lana Del Rey. I
Mm-hmm.
really love her music and she's very talented. And for me, she was like an icon in everything. But once I don't know if you know, but one of the latest marketing shootings, or I don't know how to call it. So Lana Del Rey was featured in that.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was a shock because I know at the same time, like Skims, it's very unsustainable brand and everything. Like everyone in sustainable community knows about Skims not being very good and ethical and
Mm,
sustainable. But then at the same time, I have this Lana Del Rey who is like an icon for me and everything. And for me, it was like again a dissonance. I didn't know what to think. Like it was hard. So
it's kind of
I
heartbroken.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I think like we think of celebrities like too much maybe.
Mm,
Like yeah, for example, when you see a person and you think like their product is gonna be very sustainable and ethical and everything, but then you would understand that most of them are either doing it for money and they don't even either care or don't even know about what's going into that products and everything. um so because people know that like their fans gonna buy anything if it just
yes.
features face, they can do
Yes.
whatever they want, and the pricing, the like whatever they want they can do, and these products is gonna be sold anyways. So for me, I have this, I don't know, stigma
Yeah.
against against these celebrity brands because you will never fully be, I don't know, aware of
Yes.
everything that's done for these products, even if they,
Yes.
I don't know, feature the face of a celebrity that you love too much. And
Yeah.
yeah, when you check, for example, um, Fenty Beauty,
Mm-hmm.
it's a part of LMVH, yeah, which is a brand like against one of the biggest fashion companies that
Mm-hmm.
gains a lot of money. And of course it uses a lot of oil, a lot of energy, and everything is very unsustainable. But Fenty Beauty is a part of this company, even though like they feature a face of Rihanna. Yeah, so
Yes.
I don't think they are very sustainable. I don't know about um, the healthiness or the
Mm-hmm.
cleanliness of these brands for 100%, but I think I've seen some. Do you know EWG website?
I'm kind of aware of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the one that like checks the ingredients for every brand, and I think they didn't have like a good rating on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you think like every single beauty brand or like sorry, not beauty brand, every single celebrity brand is like unethical for us, but like only few?
It's hard to tell. I think you should check one by one, but
Yeah, so it's better to look
I
at
don't
like
know.
to do the research or something. Just because like our favorite
Yeah,
person
of course.
is like being there, we cannot really buy it. We need to go and like research by ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Do you know any brands like that we should follow, like sustainable beauty brands or clothing brands that we should follow?
I don't have anything on top of my mind, to be honest, because I don't usually follow a lot of sustainable brands myself, even though I recommend. But yeah, I would say I can recommend not brands, but vintage
Mm,
shops like Vinted. I use Vinted a lot. It's very
mm.
good.
And also,
Yeah,
I assume that you do the like I think you follow the R's of sustainable mostly, like
yeah,
reduce and reuse. So maybe like if you follow those R's, I think it's better. You're not going to buy a lot of clothes like from sustainable. You don't need to, basically.
yeah. That's the point.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So, how do you know what sustainable clothing is? I mean, like, how do you define this dress is made of sustainable fabric? Are there any certifications for brands? I hope this is okay to ask.
Yeah. So
I mean, I'm
I use.
because like when I go for shopping, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's okay.
So when I go for shopping, even though it's sustainable, brand or what, I still want to make sure whether it's like sustainable dress or not. Like, should I wear it? Is it really sustainable? Like, because some companies do lie that like they say they're 100% sustainable, but do they really are? Is the question.
Yeah, it's a difficult question, to be honest, because there's a lot of greenwashing going on right now.
Yes.
Terms like sustainability, green, eco-friendly, they are not regulated at all in any country, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna regulate that in Europe soon, but still it's not regulated. So they can literally put sustainable on anything that, even if it's 100% polyester and it's sheen. Yeah, so it's hard to understand what is sustainable clothing. Of course, there are certifications, a lot of them. This is B Corp, GOTC, TS. I don't remember a lot of them. Fair trade to know if it's an
Mm.
ethical, fair wear foundation. I usually use Good on You app. It's very helpful in that matter because they show every certification that a brand has, and if they use a lot of eco-friendly materials, and if they try to use like um, I don't know, sustainable practices in their warehouses and everything. Yeah, I usually use Good on You app. As for the sustainable fabrics, it's hard to tell because you would think that cotton is a sustainable fabric, but at the same time, there are different ways to produce cotton. It can be done in an very like organic and sustainable way, but at the same time, it can be very unsustainable, and it's a fabric that uses a lot of water for it.
Mm-hmm.
Even like as I told you, at LC, it actually was there was a problem because of cotton production. Like
Mm.
they used a lot of water from RLC to produce cotton. So yeah, so it's
Oh,
hard to tell which fabric is like 100% sustainable. I think you should like, I don't know, check everything like the certifications in the fabric and everything beforehand.
yes. Yeah. Those are golden gems coming out of you because I'm not even aware of those certifications exist like until now. And also I know like a lot of cotton fabrics are like maybe like use a lot of water and that like they don't use a little, they use a lot. Like maybe like I think like the amount of water they use is going to be like 10 Olympic pools can be filled with that water. It's like that huge amount of water they are using. And
Yeah.
I think it's always better to make sure what are you buying and ask yourself whether you really need it or not. I think like whatever we're talking right now, it always circulates to the three R's.
Yeah, of course.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
like the main principle of sustainable fashion or sustainable
yes,
lifestyle in that matter.
yeah. Yes. So, can you recommend any budget-friendly, sustainable brands? What brands we should avoid, and what brands should we avoid? Do
Mm,
you know any sustainable ones which are like our budget-friendly?
yeah, as for the brands you should avoid, I think it's any, for example, Inditex brand, which is Zara, H&M, Stradivarius, Bershka, and everything. Also eh, LMVH brands.
I have a
This is like,
question.
yeah.
Yeah, so even though, they say Zara and H&M are sustainable, right? We still need to avoid them.
I think it's again a big greenwashing technique from them because, as I said, like sustainable term is not regulated, so they can claim they are sustainable even though they don't have any certification or
Hmm.
their production is like very big. It's too much. The problem with Zara and H&M, they're overproducing and they rely on very fast and even ultra fast trends. So this is like the main signs of a brand being like fast fashion. If they have a lot of trends, if they have too much of clothing produced, and if they have like more than 4 collections every year, then they are definitely fast fashion. For example, Zara, I think, has like new collection at least each week or 2 weeks, which is like insane.
Yes, I mean that means like they're using lots of water and like
Yeah,
lots
yeah,
of things are going in, which is, I mean, it is sustainable, but at the same time, if you think about it, that even the prices are very expensive.
yeah, of course. Like Zara, maybe they have some cheap clothing, but I wouldn't say that Zara is very, I don't know, budget friendly now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Um, I think in that term, um, more of a fast fashion and budget friendly brands are becoming like Primark and Shein and Temu.
Mhm.
But I don't know, even if you don't care about sustainability, you should care at least for other people that are working then. Like they were accused of a lot of like slave labor, of child labor, and I don't know how you can support these practices. Like,
Yes. And I believe like before even we do shopping or go to a particular shop, I think it's better to know, is it is it helpful for the environment or at least helping the workers, like following the rules, the labor rules and everything.
yeah, of course,
Yes.
because yeah, maybe because I can understand when people don't care about the environment, but I can understand when people don't care about other people. So for me, it's a question. Yeah.
What is something exciting about your job or like the masters you're doing?
About my job, I think I will be a bit biased because I love environmental science in general. It's very interesting because you get to like study a lot of different things, but from environmental perspective. For example, for example, economy, you will study a bit about economy, how it works, but from environmental perspective, because of course, economy, like it's a big part of our lives, of our countries, of course,
Yes.
but you can also make an economy more sustainable, to make it like more environmentally friendly. For example, even if you heard like this is a new term, kind of a circular economy,
Hmm.
when you try to like do a whole circle of something. For example, you produce something, then someone is using that, then it goes to not going directly to waste, but maybe it's repaired or mended and then goes to another person, for example, and at the end it goes to the recycling facility, which again recycles it and creates something new, which like it makes a whole circle instead of a like a direct linear economy. When you produce something, someone is using it, that, and then it goes to landfills and to waste, for example, things like this. Also, you will understand more about like sociology, about the psychology of people, of how they are, for example, maybe manipulated into thinking, for example, into consuming a lot of things. Because I would say that fashion, like the thing that we were manipulated into thinking that we need to shop like every week for new trends. I wouldn't say that it's not a necessity for people, right?
Yes.
but still you think of it like, I need to shop for something, I need more clothes. It's not like you're saying I want more clothes, because at least that's what I experienced. Like a lot of people in my I don't know, in my family, for example, they always say like, I need more clothes, I need more clothes. Like it's something, yeah, something interesting. And another thing about my job, I really like right now my topic, which is microplastics, because it's very interesting for me, at least. But it's
Mhm.
very new topic because like, why I say it's new, because some people would say like it's around for 10 or 15 or 20 years, like this topic. But in terms of science, 20 years is like nothing. It's still a very new topic. It's a very new problem, because plastic in general is a very new material, even though you would
Yes.
say like it's been here for 100, for like 100 of years. But it's still very new, because other fabrics or other materials like, I don't know, wood, metals, they've been around for at least like thousands of years, right?
Mhm.
They've been
Yes.
like, all of this we've been using for thousands of years, and that's why we understand how it works, how we can manufacture them, and of course their impact on the environment, on our and on ourselves and everything. But with plastics, it's been introduced like 80 years ago, or maybe like something between 80 and 100 years ago. And for us, it's a very new material, because we don't know like for 100% how it works, how it's going to affect in environment, nature, and ourselves. It's only
Yes.
been like, yeah, so for example, the microplastic problem, we never like even thought of it when plastic was introduced at first. And with microplastics problem, the biggest issue is that, yes, we don't know everything about microplastics. And it's only been like this past 5 years that we understand that it's a big problem, that it affects like aqua, like marine animals and marine cultures, how it was found in like in our blood. It was only this year or maybe last year that we found out that actually microplastics and nanoplastics, they are in our blood and everything. And another thing is that we don't even regulate microplastics. Like it's not possible to regulate microplastic, and we don't regulate it as well, because right now I'm working on microplastics in wastewater treatment plants,
Yes.
because like, the main source of microplastics is going to be like wastewater treatment plants, and there's no regulations on that. So you can, I don't know, discharge 2 microplastics, or you can discharge millions of microplastics, and you will never get fined for that, or you're not even gonna monitor that, because it's not regulated, it's not interesting for anyone. I know that right now Europe is going to have some regulations on microplastics in the coming like 5 years or maybe even 10 years. But for other countries in the whole world, there's no regulations. So yeah, as I said, you can either like discharge millions of microplastics and you will not get any problems because of that. And that's why I think it's very interesting to study that. And I would say that there is a lot of microplastics right now in our wastewaters, as I studied them in Kazakhstan and here in Spain. And the interesting thing is a lot of polyester
Mhm.
polyester fibers there.
Mhm. Yes.
So like my one of my hypotheses is that a lot of them are coming from our clothes, from our bed sheets, from fabrics that are made from polyester and like from oil-based fabrics.
Yes.
And we yet to discover more impacts on our human health, because right now it's believed that like pure microplastics, they wouldn't have any health threat, like they wouldn't pose health threat to human. But the thing is, there's a lot of microplastics that are not like pure, because as we study the um, like the microplastic absorption of different chemicals, they absorb different chemicals, which can be even one of the harmful ones. And yeah, I can go on and go on with this topic, but yeah, it's very interesting. It's very applicable to our life right now because everything we use is like it's impossible to avoid plastic. Even though I try to avoid plastic as much as possible, but it's just impossible.
Yes,
So yeah.
I get it. I can totally understand that. Because even though if we go and buy something, the restaurant people, they might keep the food in the plastic box. We can't really go up to the restaurant owner and be like, hey, can you please change it? Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yes, it's sometimes very, very difficult to avoid the plastic. And unfortunately, because of this plastic, I think some people, like carelessly, they just throw the plastic into the ocean or like in the water, in the sewing system and everything. And like they spoil it very badly. Because of that, the fishes, the pure animals are getting impacted, and that's very deeply sad.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yes,
it's not like it's gonna affect animals there and that's it. But these animals are, like it's gonna affect like trophic chains and somehow it will go to us. And even like it's not just affecting animals and that's it. Because if it's affecting animals, animals will affect the ocean will affect the lands, and like everything is so connected in the environment. So you cannot just think like, okay, I'm gonna like it's gonna affect only this part of the environment. No, it's this part is of the environment gonna affect whole environment. And that's the problem of the environmental problems because everything is so connected.
yes. So, also the information you're giving is incredible. Like, like it's really gonna help out the people who are planning to pursue a job or any master's or a bachelor's degree in environmental science or subdivisions of environmental science. Um, so I am very curious about this question. Me personally really want to know about this question. So, does being sustainable impact any of your food habits? If so, how?
Yes. I went vegetarian 5 years ago,
5 years
and
ago, okay. So even
in
before that, you were like eating chicken and beef and everything.
yeah, yeah, I ate. And just for a little information about Kazakhstan, it's a very meat-centered society. Like, I would say, like historically, since we're nomad people, we
Yes,
didn't have a settled lifestyle, so we didn't have a lot of like grains and everything. Like, we didn't have agriculture, so our communities heavily relied on meat consumption, meat and
yes,
dairy.
yes,
That's why like all of our national dishes they contain meat and everything. Yeah, and dairy, of course. And right now, like 5 years ago, switching to vegetarian diet is was very hard. It was very difficult. Of course, people were judging me, especially family. They didn't want me to go vegetarian. They were
I can
very
relate
against.
to that.
Yeah,
Yes,
they were
I have
very
that type
against.
of family too.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah, so it was very hard, but I was already 20 at that time, so I was quite independent. Um, and I decided to go vegetarian. But my first reason for that, I would say, was mainly animals, because as I said, I love animals, and for me, it was very hard to eat them. Yeah,
yes,
yeah, and then only after that, I studied about the environment and how this is closely related, like agriculture, especially like meat industries, how big of an impact they have on environment.
hmm
Even in Kazakhstan, they still have lectures about meat industries being very detrimental to our environment, even though they are not like ready to go vegetarian or to have more vegetarian options for people. But
yes,
this topic, it's widely discussed in all environmental science communities, in sustainable communities, because we can see how this industry, like it's very detrimental for our environment. And I would say even like I don't know, but I don't think that meat that is produced right now is very healthy for us. Like the way that it is produced, it's very, I don't know, dirty and not very, I don't know, healthy. Like it's not the way that this meat produced like 100 years ago. So it's
Yes.
very, yeah.
And it's also not only impacting the environment, it's also impacting the humans who are eating it, actually. Yes.
Yeah,
But
of course.
yeah, because I know this news that like, the chickens we eat, some we consume, they are getting, getting injected by some type of a chemical or something, I don't know, and all of a sudden a small baby chick is gonna grow so big, and like
Yeah.
it's and if any of us eat it, we are definitely gonna have some health issues. And especially
Yeah.
I think when it comes to some girls, when they eat it, they're gonna have early mature like early periods already. It's very sad that like the food we're eating, we really need to be very conscious what we're eating, and we need to see how it's impacting us and the environment.
Yeah.
Yes.
I absolutely
Um,
agree with.
yes. Um, and as you said before, your family didn't want you to turn into vegetarian already. This question is kind of related to that. So, how does your family or friends or any of your loved ones support you in your sustainable journey? Or what was their perspective on you being sustainable? Where like how, because when it comes to my case, if I tell them all of a sudden that I'm being vegetarian, my family would not really agree with that too. It will take them some time to process. So how was your family or friends or your people for supporting you?
I think at first they weren't as supportive as I wanted them to be, but I think it's mainly because of their um the lack of knowledge on the topic,
Mhm. Yes.
because of that. But right now I try to explain, like I like to talk about sustainability and environmental science, and I try to discuss it with my family, with my parents and my siblings and other relatives I have. And I think right now they're more supportive. And also I married 1 year ago, and my husband, he's very supportive of everything I'm doing. Yeah, he like this person, he didn't even know, I think, the term of sustainability and what is sustainable fashion. But right now he's so educated on the topic. I think he can
That's
even like,
so cute. That's so cute. Yeah,
yeah. He's very supportive of everything I'm doing, and I think like part of my success is his support. So
that's
yeah,
great.
uh, yeah, in that matter, yeah, he's very supportive, and he's trying to be sustainable with me, and yeah, like everything I think of, he's very supportive, and he's like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Actually, to be honest, I really need to appreciate that because, when you want to change that, that makes sense. Like, you have a goal and everything, but like when he's trying to change for you, that's amazing that because he's changing for you and he's trying to support your motives and values. That's really
Yeah,
nice.
I wouldn't marry him if he wasn't that supportive.
Yes. Um, so when did you have this passion of being this sustainable or the idea of making this place a better place, this planet a better place?
As for the helping the environment as to become environmental scientist, I think it was like during my school years, as I said, when I understood the problems of RLC, or where my people are from, like my
Yes,
family is from.
because of
Um,
this tragic experience, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, yes, of course, because I saw it like with my own eyes, and I saw how my grandfather, like he did a lot, and he's still doing, even though he's retired now, he still is trying to help the locals and try to preserve and conserve everything that left from RLC.
So
Yeah,
it
but
is the water is a huge problem in your place.
yeah. Yeah.
But when did the problem even started?
When the problem started, I
Yeah.
think in 60, like 60 years ago.
Seriously,
It
and it's
was
still continuing.
um so when it first started, I think it was because of cotton production, as I said. So after some time, when they noticed a big problem, they tried to stop the cotton production as much as possible. But
Mhm.
because of like it stopped to a certain point, but because of climate change, of course, of global warming, the water evaporates a lot, and
Mm.
um, it's it was already established that it's never gonna be restored to its original size or anything, and it's actually even divided to two parts, and one part is thought to be lost in future years. So we try to at least save a small part that is still like there. But yeah, it's probably gonna get worse and worse every year, which is very sad, but it's it's the reality that we have with climate change and everything.
What is your goal or dream as an environmental scientist, or generally as a sustainable follower?
I don't think that it's a dream that it's gonna be like achieved, but it's my
Mhm.
general idea is just to help this environment, um, to help as much as possible, and I think to try to convert more people to sustainability, or inspire more as much people as possible into sustainable lifestyle, or at least to start being conscious about environment and environmental problems, maybe not being 100% like sustainable and zero waste and everything, because of course it's not that easily achievable, but at least to
Yes.
have that in mind and to try to do something. And yeah, but my main like dream and everything is to help environment, to be a very good environmental scientist, and to have
Mhm.
some achievements in that area, and maybe to do some like very groundbreaking research paper.
So, I was just wondering, after your master's, what's your plan? What's after that?
A very hard question.
Yes.
I'm not
Actually, it's hard for,
sure.
I think, every person
Yeah, but
after
I'm not sure.
education.
Yeah. I'm not sure for 100% what I'm gonna do, but of course, I want it to be related to microplastics for now, because
Mhm.
I think it's very important right now, and to be a person who like research this a relatively new problem, and maybe to find a solution for that, or at least to be a part of the solution. Um, yeah, I think that is my, it's not a plan, but something similar, like just what I want to do after masters. And maybe I will work in Europe for 1 year, but to be honest, I also want to travel a bit, because I think it's very important as there are some jobs that require traveling and seeing the world, and I think environmental science is one of them, because you will see different perspectives of different countries, of different people. And as I said, like environmental science and environmental problems, they're very connected. Like environment as a whole is a very connected thing. So in order to understand it, I think you have to travel a world at least a bit, just to understand like how everything works, uh, where what is the biggest problem source maybe, and what is the biggest like problem solution area. So yeah, I think I want to travel a bit, like try to work in different parts of the world, and for now I
So,
would say to go to Japan and to see.
so instead of just learning from textbooks, you want to have a practical learning, go out in the world and explore and learn from the real life situations. So, why do you want to go
Yeah,
to Japan though?
um I was thinking Japan or Korea, because I just want to see the Eastern Asia. Um,
Yes.
and also I've heard that Japan, it like people there are more conscious about environment, about nature, but at the same time there were some big environmental problems. I think like because this country is not as big as other countries, they have, for example, the problems with landfills. They're
Mhm.
not enough they don't know where to put their waste. And another problem is like there was a recently, not very recently, maybe 50 years ago, but in terms of science, it's recently, um, a Minamata disease. I don't know if you know it. It was because of the contamination of lead into the water.
Mm-hmm.
They contaminated
Yes.
the sea too much, and when they ate fish, there were a lot of disease, like a
Mm-hmm.
very lethal
Mm-hmm.
diseases.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think after that they were more conscious about the environment, environmental problems, and I think they try to invest more in environmental field. So it would be really cool to see how they deal with the problems, deal with some little space, and yeah, it
Yes.
would be really cool to see how they see the environmental problems and solution for that.
That's really cool, actually. So, in order to be a environmental scientist, what do you have to study, or what are the requirements? I mean, like, I know you did your bachelor's degree, but like throughout your high school, I don't know how the education is in your country, but like, what are the other requirements that you need to do to become an environmental scientist?
So I'd say that in Kazakhstan, as I said, like environmental jobs are not very popular. So even my bachelor's, it's not in environmental science. My bachelor's is actually in civil engineering, but it was called like
Oh, okay.
civil and environmental engineering. But to be honest, I had like 3 or 4 courses related to environmental engineering. So it's mainly civil engineering. Um, so I think like maybe to apply for a bachelor's degree, you would have to have some foundation in chemistry and
Mm-hmm.
in math and maybe in
Mm-hmm.
physics, something like that, like sciences, like natural sciences, maybe
So
biology.
even maths is important, a little at
Uh,
least.
yeah, a little, yeah, it is important a little, but yeah, of course, you're not gonna do some like very hard stuff like a lot of things done right now by computers, which
Mhm.
is very helpful and saves a lot of time. But I think why math is important is just it makes you think differently. Like it makes your logic more developed. I don't know, like math,
Yeah.
maybe the math problems they won't help like directly, but indirectly it develops your brain to think differently. So I think it's very important, especially in areas where you have to think. And yeah,
So
so for me,
environmental scientists have to think in a different ways. They
yeah, I
cannot think
think
in one all the same way.
definitely,
Yes.
definitely, yes. And of course, and as I said, you have to have different perspectives. So right now, I'm in a very international society right now because my
Yes.
program is very international, and it's very cool to have um, like this setup of very different people with their very different mindsets and viewpoints on environment.
So what is your take on these fast fashion foods and industries? Sorry, fast foods and fast fashion industries. I know you already
Fast
have
food.
talked about it, but like, yeah, fast food and fashion industries. I know you already talked about it a little, but like maybe a little brief about it.
Um, is just to sum up everything, I don't like fast fashion industries. I think they are very unsustainable and very unkind to our planet as well to the people, very unethical. I think more and more people will understand that in future, and we will switch to slow fashion instead. So yeah, and
Yes.
as to fast food, I don't know. I think it's the same with fast fashion industries. Um, but for me, I'm not a fan of fast food. Of course, sometimes I eat it,
Mhm.
but I'm a fan of like cooking myself or like home food, you know.
Yeah, that's lovely. Actually, in my family, I'll be the one who wants to. go out and eat the fast fashion food and everything. Sorry, fast food. But like my mom, on the other hand, she'll be like, "No, sit at home. I'll cook for you." So
Yeah,
yeah, I
maybe
get
because
it.
you're young. You're still young.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it's like a part of culture, especially when
yes,
you're young. When you go out with your friends, you go out somewhere to see. Like you cannot just stay at home to see people. Yeah.
yes. Also, I was just wondering about your family. So, you said you had a sister, right? So,
Yeah.
how many siblings do you have? Can we know a bit more about your family? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. I have a sister and a little brother. They are not related to environmental science at all, but an interesting thing that like I think that you might find interesting. My sister, she
Yes.
lives in Dubai and she has a brand, a fashion brand. Yeah.
Oh, she has a fashion brand? That's
Yeah.
really nice. Can we know a bit, like, what's the name of it, or like a bit more about it?
Yeah, it's called Marble. I
Okay.
think she founded it 2 years ago or something like this.
Hmm.
It's very popular
Hmm.
right now in Arab countries. And
Arab countries, okay.
yeah, she says always like she's inspired by me being environmental scientist and sustainable creator. So she
Hmm.
tries as much as possible to make it as sustainable and as ethical as possible. All her like she can track all her supply chain. It's not very big, of course, but she tracks
Hmm.
it and she ensures that everyone is paid fairly. Um, Her closest workers, she like is is a friend for them. Yeah, she really cares about this business. It's not like a I don't know a CEO of Zara who doesn't care about anything at all. But it's not perfect yet. I can admit
Yes.
it's not perfect. I think she can admit it herself. It's not like 100% sustainable, but she always has this in mind, and I think it's very wholesome and cute to always have that
Is
in
there a
mind whenever.
website? Is there, sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt you.
yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead, go ahead. Is there,
It's Marble Apparel.
it's Marble. Yeah, is it a website and online so I could go and shop actually?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah, it's called Marble
Yes.
Apparel, the website.
Okay.
It's
Yes.
the marble, not marble
Yes.
like the rock marble,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, I
without
got it. Yeah.
e at the end. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yes. Yeah. And that's really nice because your entire family is, into fashion, I guess.
Yeah. Yes, it is kind of.
Yes. Yeah. Uh, so what are some, I know you already talk about microplastic problems, but like, just in a brief, what are some most important problems that really needs to be solved? Like maybe three or two?
Um, I can say two of them. I think the
Mm-hmm.
first problem, maybe it's not a solution, but for me, it's kind of is. It's an awareness problem. I
Mm-hmm.
think, yeah, of course, for now, like right now, everyone is talking about microplastics, but I think I'm a bit biased for that because I'm in environmental and sustainable communities. But I
Mm-hmm.
think like the awareness of this problem, if people are aware of this problem, they're gonna talk about this problem, and that's why it's gonna be more um, like discussed problem, not only among people, like but then it's going to be talked by politicians, by governments, and everything. So I think
Mm-hmm.
awareness is a big part of a solution of any problem. It's either, I don't know, sociological or environmental. The awareness is a big part of the solution for microplastic as well. And for the second
Yes.
one, I think we need to have regulations for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yes.
it's gonna be one of the most powerful solution for
Mm-hmm.
microplastic problem because otherwise, I don't know, you can of course, I don't know, switch to another um, fabric or for another material, but it's not going to be that easy, and it would require a lot of time and resources again. As for
Yes.
the plastic, and of course there are a lot of things that you cannot substitute for plastics, because plastic actually made science and medicine develop like easier and
Yes.
cheaper, more available. So there are a lot of advantages of plastics, but yeah,
Mm.
but
We need
regulations
to
are
watch
still,
out for, yeah, we need to watch out for disadvantages and advantages.
yeah.
Yes. So, we almost came to the end of the podcast. I just need to ask two more questions about this podcast and we can move on. So, what made you say yes to our Green Side Initiative podcast?
The fact that I really like talking about sustainability and environmental science, and this is like discussion with a like-minded person.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was really cool for you to invite me. I was really honored to be your guest speaker.
Yes.
Yeah, I just really like discussing it. And since you are people who like understand these problems, and like you're in this society as well, it's really cool to connect.
Yes. So as a guest speaker, what message do you hope the listeners to take away from our podcast episode on sustainable living, like overall, and like in two words or like one sentence?
To be more conscious and to think about environment and other people. I think this is like the most important message from this podcast.
Thank you so much, Dana, for sharing such a valuable insights with us today. From like we learned about micro plastics, sustainable fashion, the brands we should avoid, the certificates, and like in order to be an environmental scientist, what should we do? We learned so much from you. And the Green Side Initiative organization is immensely grateful for this wonderful and thoughtful podcast session with you. Personally, I have gained a wealth of knowledge from our conversation. We at Greenside Talks hope you continue to achieve wonderful things and inspire the world to be a better and more sustainable person. Sorry, a sustainable place, make the sustainable place. And now it is my pleasure to invite the founder of Greenside Initiative Organization, Sahith. Sahith is a remarkable individual with the immense of passion for making the world has a sustainable place. She's known for her kindness and respect to her team. And she's not only the founder, she's also my dear friend. And Sahi, welcome to Greenside Talks. We are so excited to have you with us.
Thank you, Lakshmi, for the lovely introduction. Hey, everyone, I'm Sai,
Yes.
and I'm the founder of the Greenside Initiative. It's an honor to be here on the Greenside Talks, and I'm incredibly thankful for Dana for joining us on Greenside Initiative. Your insights on sustainable fashion and beauty and sustainability in our day-to-day life in general were incredibly valuable, and we are really grateful for your time and for sharing your knowledge with the listeners. It's been a pleasure of having you, and we look forward to seeing all the wonderful things that you will continue to achieve. And thank you for being the part of this journey. And yeah, let's continue to learn, grow, and make positive difference in the world.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, and good luck for your podcast and everything you're doing.
Yes. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much, Dana, for being here. And we are incredibly grateful. The information you really shared was amazing. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll see
Thank
you.
you.